Morning, prospectors. Well, this is a bit of an unusual one. Rosie's doing a morning warm-up, and it doesn't matter how clever you think you are in prospecting, some of it just comes down to blind dumbass luck. So this is a site we've been working for, we've been working actively for probably for about 11 years and probably closer to 20 years all up, but we've been sort of working the cat, which if you can see in that wall, probably about 1 metre thick, maybe 1.5 total. It's always a bit misleading when there's dirt built up around it. And then you're still in sort of a hard conglomerate, but you start hitting some sap rocks and a few other things. Anyway, we're sort of, mid-November. We've just been clearing up this site, saying righto, she's probably done, and we're not getting a lot more nuggets out of it. But just as a matter of chance, we clipped the edge of some quartz. Now, there's always been a little bit of quartz float mixed in with the conglomerate around here, but I think the correct nomenclature is polygeneric conglomerate, so lots of shit in it, quartz being one of them. But we sort of hit something that seemed, and I don't really know how easy it's going to be picked up in a camera, but it looks a lot more solid. You never really know. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I've got a quartz reef. Well, maybe, maybe not. My experience has been that often it's, a lump of quartz the size of a bloody house, and she's rolled down the hill and you're just picking up what's left. But sometimes it is in situ, and I'm pretty confident this is one of them. So I'm just going to walk along the area. I'll just sort of pan across. You can see Rosie there, and there's a reason why it is all undulating, why we've been chasing it. But I'll just take you for a walk along and see if we can sort of see it as we go in some of the areas where we've been following it. You can see him there. I know it's not exactly a little GoPro, but one day. And as we go through, you can see in the wall there that yellowy stuff. So we're hitting basically clays. There's all sedimentary stuff, saprolitic clays. So walk up. I've got to be careful. I'm just getting over a broken knee. Wouldn't want that to happen again. I'd have to take another 6 months or 12 months off, and then Lisa would have to do everything again. And as we walk along, I can't really see it there unless I've swept it. We lost it a little bit around here. She thinned out only to 100 mil thick, 100 mil wide, but it was there. We just had to work for it. We come along. Bear with me. This is absolutely riveting video, I'm sure. Comes along here. We're picking it up through here. Again, not very wide. We've been dollying a little bit as we go, and absolutely nothing in the dish. Completely barren. And pick it up through here again. And I'll just sort of go backwards because it started to do some weird stuff. So that's looking back along the trench there. This may or may not work, but she's coming down to about here. Hang on. That's not going to quite work. But she's coming down to about here, and then I lost it. Okay? And what's happened is she's come down, and it's hooked hard around to the left, And you're going to see he's a little bit hard to pick up, but he's coming through here from over there. Right? And over that side, totally barren. Now for some earth moving corn. That is Rosie's backside. Hubba hubba. Anyway, so what does it mean? The dumbass luck was hitting that little bit of a reef up the top there. And you've got to remember the chances are that this is just another barren quartz structure, of which the vast majority are. We may get lucky and it has a little bit of colour somewhere along it, and that's fine. But without understanding the history of this block, it's a bit hard to keep up with it. But basically, we've never understood where the gold's originated from here. And it's one thing to get gold, and that sort of keeps food on the table. But just as importantly, shall we say, is to try and work out where the bloody stuff came from, where the root of it is. And because we've got transported cover over the top by a metre or two, it's hidden this quartz reef. Now the interesting thing is, where this little structure is coming through and then hooking around that way, I think I said left, but I'm going to say right, that's heading back into dead bang right into the middle of the original patch where the thickest gold was, and she was thick. Now we never sort of picked up on this before because the signs are a little bit subtle until you know what we're looking for. We've sort of seen the pattern now and we're right. The most likely outcome, as I said, is it's just going to be another barren quartz structure. We've wasted 10 grand on diesel and time, and we fill it back in again. That's prospecting. But we've got to chase it. Absolutely. We have to chase it. Because what we're sort of looking for is, it's very common, you know, you can have a nice long quartz structure, but it's only gold bearing in a small section, and that small section may be over a few metres, 100 metres if you're lucky, 10 millimetres if you're unlucky. It just depends. So we have to go very slowly, and now that it's getting interesting because she's done a hard turn and it's heading into the main patch area, we'll expose it, which is hopefully what we're going to do today, and then really start sampling it at very regular intervals to try and work out what's going on. You find that if quartz, because remember this is all fluid when it was forming, it's solid now, it's got 100 million years or so of shit over the top of it, but it was fluid when it was formed. And for some reason that smart people will be able to tell you is that where you get quartz structures that bulge or hook around or do some weird stuff, that's often where the gold will be concentrated. And sometimes if you're out prospecting and you look down an old timer shaft and you see that it's been sort of, they've made a ballroom at the bottom where instead of just going down their normal 6x3, they've sort of bellied it out into literally a big ballroom at the bottom. Well, that's where the quartz had bellied out, and that's where the main gold was. And you can have a 200 mil wide quartz reef, but if she bellies out to several feet, happy days. If it's carrying gold, that is, and that's always the big if. This structure's sort of developing really nicely. It's about 400 mil wide, 500 mil wide, half a metre consistently now. So that gets a lot more interesting. But at the moment it's barren, so it's, you know, what does it mean? We're digging for nothing at the moment, but we're exploring. And this is how big reefs are found by prospectors. Doesn't mean we're going to. Everything's stacked against us, but it's going to be a bloody exciting day. I'm really looking forward to this, and we'll see how we go. I'll keep you informed. Just remember, your WA Miners Right means you can do all of this. See ya.